Hello, Johnny from Eurogamer here, and welcome back once again to my kitchen. Thanks so much to everyone who's watched and enjoyed the cooking videos we've made so far. It really has been cool to see how they've gone down, and I've had a lot of fun making them. So, today we're back with another video game recipe, this time mirelurk cakes from Fallout. Alright, so much like the hagfish dumplings we found in Dishonored, this is actually a recipe that comes from Fallout 3. It's on a holotape, although mirelurk cakes can also be found in Fallout 4. Anyway, this recipe calls for, originally, 1 bucket of mirelurk meat, 12 eggs mixed up, 1 loaf of bread, stale and crumbled, 1 bottle of mayonnaise, 1 branch of scrub plant, dried and crushed, 2 fists of salt, and oil for a pan. Now, presumably, if you're going to try this recipe at home, and thank you by the way to everyone who has tried the recipes we featured on these videos, it's been really cool to see. I don't think you're going to want to make a whole bucket full of mirelurk cakes. So what I've done is I've scaled down the recipe a bit to make it a bit more manageable. If you do fancy going the whole hog and digging out a bucket, just scale the ingredients back up, and we will see how that goes. But for the time being, I'm using 2 tins of crab meat, though obviously using fresh crab meat would be preferable, 4 eggs, about 75 grams of breadcrumbs, that's a piece and a half of thick bread, a squirt of mayonnaise, we'll see how much. I'm going to substitute scrub plant for spring onion, because scrub plant, you know, it's an irradiated plant, what am I supposed to do with that? And then obviously we'll use a bit less than 2 fists of salt. So basically the recipe calls for us to remove any shell from mirelurk, and then in a bucket toss together the bread, eggs, scrub and mayo until moistened, but do not overmix. Add any spices available for taste, boil them up into crab cakes, chill them down and then fry them in oil. So I'm gonna start mixing ingredients. I may adjust the quantities depending on how thick the mixture comes, so do not take all the ingredients I just read out as like concrete cast. We'll just see how we get on. But step 1, just mix everything in a bowl. Okay, so step 1, we're going to start with 4 large eggs. Now this, by the way, is how you break an egg one-handed. Mostly when people break an egg, what they do is they put a crack in the egg, turn it over, and get their thumbs in like that and kind of just fold the egg out that way, so you get it into sort of 2 halves, right? And the principle for breaking an egg one-handed is exactly the same, it's just what you do is it's upside down. So you crack it, you get your line, and then the egg kind of rests against your finger there. You wrap your thumb and your middle finger underneath, and what you do is kind of a pulling motion, so you fold the egg out that way. Hopefully that principle should be clear, but you just end up with 2 halves. So it's exactly the same thing as happening to the egg. You're just putting a little break in and then folding it out, but you just have to use your index finger instead of like the tips of your other fingers, and then do it that way. Give that a go. That's 4. And we're just going to mix those up. Then we just need some spring onion, breadcrumbs, and then 2 tins of crab meat. The recipe did call for any spices to taste, so I'm going to add a bit of salt, pepper, and then some cayenne pepper to give it a bit of a kick. It's probably just under a teaspoonful. Alright, so this is our mixture. As you can see, I thought it might be a bit runny, but it's actually holding together okay. I thought what I might have to do there would be add in like another 25 grams of breadcrumbs, but I think I'm going to chance this. So what I'm going to do is form these into vaguely mirelurk cake shaped things and then chill them in the fridge so they firm up a bit before frying them in a bit of oil. And if it doesn't go well, I'll go back to the mix, add more breadcrumbs, and then we should be okay. Let's find out. While you're waiting for your cakes to cool, why not try a cold refreshing glass of Nuka-Cola? Nuka? I barely know her! Alright, so my tester crab cake has done a bit of chilling, and that is not a good sign. It is leaking fluid quite badly. I think the mix is too watery, so I'm going to have to add more breadcrumbs, but I'm going to fry it off just in case, and we're going to see what happens. So here goes nothing. So here's our tester. It's really more of a pancake than I expected. And, oh, that's raw in the middle. Back on the pan that goes. Alright, so this has had a bit longer in the pan, and I have washed my plate and my fork. So now we can try the taster. It's not bad. We're getting there. The crab's coming through quite strongly, which is good. The cayenne pepper's sort of there. There's a little bit of a heat, but not very much. But I think the main problem we had there really was with our mixture. It was a little bit too watery, and it took a little long to cook through. So I think I'm going to add 25 grams more breadcrumbs, chill the mixture down, and then go for a sort of flatter cake rather than the sort of big burgery type thing I just had there. And I'm probably going to mess around with some other spices as well. Maybe add some paprika in there. Let's go wild. More breadcrumbs, smoked paprika. That looks a lot better. Okay, so crab cakes around 2. These definitely cooked up better. Let's see. See how this tastes. Interesting. So, I think the spices definitely helped. They're definitely tastier now. I think I preferred the texture the first time round, even though we had problems frying them off and kind of with leakage. I think I genuinely, preferred the texture. So maybe do keep the breadcrumbs at just 75 grams rather than a whole 100, because it's egg. When it fries up, it holds together. So maybe the best way to make these would be just to make the mix. Don't even bother about chilling them down. Just get them in the pan and get them cooking off. Either way, tasty, but that was a bit of trial and error. Alright, so what did we learn today from making mirelurk cakes? Lesson 1, mirelurks have more practical applications than just irritating enemy crabs that run around the game world attacking you in Fallout, which is good news. You can kill and eat them. Step 2 we learned was, don't be afraid if your mixture's a bit wet. I overcompensated with the breadcrumbs, and I ended up making something that's more akin to probably French toast than a nice delicious crab cake, but oh well, it's still quite tasty. Step 3 is we can probably sack off the chilling stage altogether. I'm sure there are some people in the comments who are going to disagree with me, and that is fine, but personally I think if you're cooking egg, whatever's cooking in and around and with the egg will stick about, because egg is an amazing adhesive once it's cooked. So yeah, those were mirelurk cakes from Fallout. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do consider liking and subscribing so you can catch plenty more of these cooking videos as and when we make them. Also keep your suggestions coming in for new recipes. We've had loads of comments so far, and we've got plenty of ideas for future episodes, but we do still need to know what recipes you most want us to make. Especially, come to think of it, vegetarian ones, because every recipe I've made so far has contained something that used to have a face, and I realise that not everyone likes to eat that way. So anyway, keep those comments rolling in, and thank you very much for watching, and have a lovely day. I forgot the mayonnaise. Don't be like me. Don't forget the mayonnaise.